All right, we're going over the Sunset Trail to 72BH today. At the front here, there is a light. If you're hooking up at night, you need to be able to see, and then up and down. Your salesman will walk you through the hitch process and hooking up and leaving. Underneath this black holding tank area here is where your propane tanks are going to be stored. So to open your gas supply, twist to the left. To close it off, twist to the right. To switch between your tanks, you're going to use this black dial here. Just push and twist to whatever tank you want to use. When one's empty, just close it off, open the other one up, and then switch that black tab over. Right down here is your battery disconnect. Your battery's going to be hooked up right here. And then you have battery on, battery off. So if you need to cut the power to your batteries, you're just going to turn this switch to off, and then your battery power will no longer be running to the unit. If you want your batteries to charge, this will have to be in the on position. And that battery charges whenever your unit's plugged in or whenever your 7-way is attached to your tow vehicle. You also have a GoPower solar kit connection there if you did want to get an extra solar panel to set on the side there. And that'll help charge the batteries. In here is your water bay. You have your fresh fill, your city connection, and your black tank flush. The fresh fill is if you're staying somewhere that doesn't have direct water hookup, you're going to take a hose, plug it into here, and turn the water on, and that's going to fill your fresh tank that's on board. Once that tank's full, you'll turn your water pump on, and that'll pump water from that tank to your faucets and to your water heater, to your toilet, to all that good stuff. You can watch how full that's getting from your tank level monitors inside, which I'll show you later. If you did forget to turn it off, it's going to start overflowing out of this overflow valve here, and then hopefully spills out down here, out onto the floor. You have your city water connection here. This is your direct water hookup. So you're going to plug your hose in here, twist it on there nice and tight, and turn the water on. That's going to run water directly to your faucets, toilets, water heater, everything. Campgrounds typically are pushing high pressure, so it is good to get a pressure regulator for this. In case that water was pushing hard, it could pop your lines out and then you'll get a bunch of water in your unit. So good to get a pressure regulator for that. And then this last one here is the black tank flush. So your black tank's the holding tank for your toilet water. When you're draining that out, you can put a hose in here and turn the water on. That shoots water into your black tank to help rinse it out in case anything gets stuck in there like toilet paper. That'll help it push all that crap out of there. Here we've got your hose, power adapter to go down from 30 amp down to 120, and then your starter sewer hose as well. Solar charge controller is up there. That's regulating how much solar is taken in to charge the batteries. And then your inverter is this box here. To turn it on, press the button there, and that converts the battery power over to 120 to power outlets inside. Down here is your fresh tank drain. So to plug it up, you push this in to open it up, pull it out. It is a quick drain, so that water will go out of there in about 30 seconds. So just make sure you got that closed when you're trying to fill it up. Got your slide out closed right now. Those slide toppers put on. Got your tires here. Those will be filled. Lug nuts will be tightened down for you when you come to pick it up. Then down here are your sewer drains. You have gray on the left, black on the right. Pull them to open them, push them to close them. Gray is the holding tank for your sinks and your showers, and black is the holding tank for your toilet. Drain the black first, so that when you drain your gray tank, it helps to rinse your sewer hose out and clean anything out that gets stuck in there. Otherwise, also use your black tank flush to make sure that that's all rinsed out completely. Storage area back here. Your cable and satellite connections will be in here if you're staying somewhere that offers that. And then down there is where your power cord's going to plug in. You have 30 amp service. There is a backup camera quick connection, so if you did decide to buy a backup camera, you can install one there. Back here is your water heater. Before you run any water in this unit, you're going to have to put the plug on your water heater. You'll go right here, put it on, twist it on there, and then tighten it down with a 1 1/16 socket. That'll keep that on there nice and tight. It is good to get some Teflon tape to put around there so that this doesn't leak out since it is plastic. And then always make sure not to over tighten because you can ruin the threading. Once that cap is on there nice and tight, go ahead, run your water from either city connection or from your fresh tank. This tank's gonna start to fill up. While it's filling, I like to leave all the hot taps open inside. That way any air that's trapped in this tank will be released. And then once water starts coming out of your hot taps, that's how you know that this tank is full and good to turn on. You don't want to turn your water heater on unless the water is completely full in this tank. Otherwise, you run the risk of heating that tank up so much that that metal gets hot, and then the water line connections to this tank start to melt, and then again you got water pouring everywhere, and you don't want that. So always make sure you only turn this on when it's full. So always check those switches inside to make sure that they aren't on when there's no water in here. Draining this, you're going to make sure you have all the water shut off. You don't want your pump on. You don't want the city connection turned on. You make sure you got all the water shut off. Then you're going to come here, let this pressure off with the pressure release valve, and then you can take that cap back off with your 1 1/16 socket, and the water's just going to spill right out over here and over the edge. You just wait for that all to drain out, and just close the door back on it. Spare tire on the back. This back switch here is for your rear stabilizers. So once you have your unit leveled out side to side by running those tires up onto blocks or something, depends on how you like to do it, you'll run these down, hold the extend switch, and one's going to run down. Once it hits, then the other one's going to start moving down. See that now, that other one's moving. And once that's touched down, I like to stop. These steps on the back, I'm just gonna pull, lop them down like that. Get your door on the back side here. You do have a spray port on this side. If you wanted to plug a hose into here, you can have a little outside shower action out here if you needed to rinse some dishes off, give your dog a wash, anything like that. It's just gonna be cold water though, no hot. Then we have your griddle. You'll slide it out, lock these pins in back here, and then you have your LP hose on the back side of it right here. You'll run that LP hose down and into the LP connection down here, which is this blue one on the left right here. Take that little rubber grommet off, install the hose in, and then flip the silver valve on top to open the gas supply up, and that will run gas to your griddle. Those two hoses to the right side of that are your low point drains, the low points of your hot and your cold water lines. You'll use those for winterizing and dewinterizing, and I'll walk you through that process later on in this video. Up here is your mini fridge. This will run when your unit is plugged in. Temperature adjustment is up there, on and off. You have your furnace exhaust right here. It does get hot when the furnace is running, so if you have younger kids, make sure they know not to touch that, otherwise they could burn themselves. You have outside speakers there and there, as well as two outlets here and a cable satellite connection if you wanted to plug a TV in outside. You have your front stabilizer switch right here behind the door. Same thing as the rear, hold extend, and it's gonna go down one at a time. And we are now stabilized. Here's your front storage area. You have your jack cranks, as well as the crank for your front jack here. If this were to ever go out electrically, you remove this grommet here, and then you can manually crank it up and down with that jack crank if that were to ever go out on you. There's that curly hose that you'll use for your spray port in the rear, and then you have two light switches here, one for this LED bar and then one for that blue light on the top. Your steps here fold directly into the frame of your unit. So you just pick them up, set them in the door frame like that, and lock them in, and then you can shut that door right on top of it. To adjust the leg height, you'll pull the pins out right here, and then you can slide this leg up or down, depending on the terrain you're on. When adjusting the legs, make sure that you leave this area flush to this piece of metal. If you leave a gap here, then when you close your door, the base of your door is gonna hit on that and it won't be able to close, and you might end up bending this black piece of metal. So when adjusting your stairs, always make sure that you've left enough space for that door to close. Make sure you don't slam it on that first try, otherwise you could end up with that bent metal. With all of that set on the outside here, we're gonna move in. So let's quick take a look. It's your slide out moving out and your awning's moving out. So right on this panel as you walk in, you have all the controls. So slide in and out switches right here. To run the slide out, we're gonna hold the out switch. You can see it begin to move. Once the slide stops moving, that's how we know to let go of the switch. Just like that. That is what the slide looks like all the way out. Then we have your awning extend retract switch. So we're gonna hold extend. That awning is gonna begin to roll out. You'll know your awning is all the way out when the valance strip on the end is facing straight down. If you go further than that, you end up rolling the awning back over on itself. It creates a valley, and then water can pool up on the top of your awning, stretching your canvas out, and then making your awning not open and close as easily. So once we see that black strip there, facing straight down, that's how we know we're all the way out. To adjust the pitch of this awning, you have these pinch tabs on the back. You just pinch them together, and then you can slide this bar up or down to adjust the pitch of the awning, whatever way you want the water to run off. Most people have the water run off the backside so that the puddle isn't in the front where they're walking in, but all personal preference. Your fire extinguisher will be installed there on the right as you walk in. Other things on this panel include your lights. So we have these interior ones, and then your awning light is right there, which is that little blue LED strip that runs along the top. Then you have your water switches here. Water pump switch is what you're going to turn on to draw water from your fresh tank to pump to your faucets. The gas water heater and the electric water heater switches are right here. If you're plugged in, I would use the electric one. That's going to save you your propane. Turn it on once that tank is full. 10 to 15 minutes, you'll have hot water. If you're not plugged in, use your gas one. Flip that on. 10 to 15 minutes, you'll have hot water. Just make sure your gas supply is open. It'll light itself. It has an igniter on it. And then, yeah, 10, 15 minutes, you'll have hot water. Once that water's hot, you don't really need to leave the gas one on. So I would just turn it off so you're not wasting propane. Then in here, we got your keys. These gray keys will unlock your front and back doors as well as your compartment doors. And then you have a 751 key for unlocking the satellite connections box in the back. Go over the bedroom area here. Pretty simple. Opening this exit window, just pull up on the red tab here, push it out. You can prop it open like that. If you need to escape, push this red thing all the way through, and that will push the window all the way out, and then you'll pull on this red tab here to take the screen off. And you've got your light switch here for above the bed, and then the light switch here for the blue LED in the back. Last thing on this panel, tank levels. Fresh tank, black tank, gray tank. It does say 2 and 2 on here, but you don't have those. That's just because it's a universal panel that they use for every unit, and some other units have more than one tank. But you just have the black one and gray one. And the fresh, as they fill, the red lights will come on, and then your battery level is shown there. It always reads full when your unit is plugged in. If you want an accurate reading, unplug your unit. Got your dinette area here. This does fold down into a bed configuration. We also have your thermostat here. To turn your thermostat on, press this bottom bar here. That cycles through your modes. So just the fan, just AC, furnace, and then back to off again. Once you get to a setting you want to use, temperature up and down. And we'll hear that AC kick on here in a second. There it goes. We'll turn it back off though, because it is not hot outside. As we continue to walk through here, we have your burner area here. Lift up on this glass here. Turning this button on is going to just light up this panel here. You don't need it on for the gas to open up, but just more of a light display. So we'll push it on. To light these burners, push in, turn to the left, and then spark to the right. Make sure you only turn your igniter to the right. If you turn it to the left, you can break it. Same thing for each burner as well as the oven. The first time you light the oven, just make sure you leave this open push into this flame marker here, and then ignite, and then you'll see that pilot light come on down there, and then open it up to whatever temperature you needed. Make sure for travel your glass is folded down. You don't want that to slam and shatter on you. You do have a fan here and a light switch. These burners are getting hot. That fan will help push that hot air out the side of the unit. You have your microwave here, self-explanatory. Start button, 30 seconds, get that running. TV remote's in here, as well as your packet with warranty information, as well as your user manual. Light switch. You have a GFCI outlet up there. If you need to reset the outlets if they trip, that's where you'll do that from. Down here is your carbon monoxide detector and LP gas detector. That draws off your batteries when the unit isn't plugged in. So if you don't want your batteries to die on you, I would take the negative ends off when you're putting this in storage or not using it for over a period of 2 weeks. We got your couch here. This does fold into a bed. You'll just take the back cushions off and then lift up from here, and then that'll flop out into a bed. Got your refrigerator here. Power on and off. Hold that for 10 seconds to turn it off and 10 seconds to turn it back on again. Temperature up and down for the fridge. Temperature up and down for the freezer. And then night mode to make it run a little quieter for you. TV is here. This is also your radio. So if you go through the sources here, that'll switch it over to your radio. So you can play music from here or on those speakers outside. It does have Bluetooth if you want to connect your phone to it. You'll just change it to the Bluetooth source, and then you can connect your phone to that, play whatever you want. Below your oven, breakers and fuses. Everything's labeled so you know what each one does. It is good to take extra fuses with you just in case. Walking back here, you got your ladder, your bunk beds, 300-pound capacity on the bunks. Light switches on the side, as well as USB outlets if they need to charge their phones. AC runs through the ceiling vents, and furnace will run through these black fan vents here. In the back is your bathroom area. Light switch. Pretty simple back here. It is a pedal flush toilet, so step on that to flush the toilet. Smoke alarm is up on the ceiling right here. This just runs off your regular battery, so when it dies, it'll start chirping at you and you'll just replace that battery. Other than that, for the inside, that is it. And so now I will go over the winterizing process with you. All right, let's say it's wintertime and you're ready to winterize. The first thing you're gonna do is put your water heater on bypass. Water heaters are not built to have antifreeze in them, so you're gonna have to close off the water supply to this. On the back side of this water heater, there are 2 valves, one hot and one cold. You'll close them so that they are no longer facing the water heater. That way no antifreeze can go in there when you're running it. I'll show you how to access that water heater area. It's underneath your back bunk. So if you are older, it is pretty difficult to get back there, so I would have someone younger do it for you because we don't want you getting hurt. Otherwise, if you're not confident that you can get it done yourself, we do offer winterizing here if you want to bring it in. But down here, there are 2 screws on the base of this panel here and here. You're going to remove those, and then that's going to expose the back side of your water heater. Hot, cold line, close them off. Now your water heater is on bypass. Then you go to that water heater, take your drain plug out, make sure all the water is drained out of the water heater, and then we'll begin the winterizing process by going out front to your water bay. You're going to remove this screw here, this screw here, the screw there, and the screw there. Take this panel off. That's going to expose your water pump. Connected to the water pump is a cutoff end of hose and a valve. You'll twist the valve on the water pump to face the cutoff end of hose. That changes where your water pump draws from. It's no longer going to be drawing from your fresh tank, and instead it's going to be drawing from the end of that cutoff end of hose. You'll stick that into your jug of antifreeze. I'd suggest about 5-6 gallons to winterize this unit. Stick it in there, turn your pump on, and it's going to start running antifreeze through your lines. You're going to open up all of your water lines, faucets, toilets, showers. Run it until it's completely pink coming out of both sides and there's no air bubbles, no water. You know, run it until it's completely pink. Once it's completely pink coming out of all of the faucets and taps, you're going to go to your low point drains on the other side. And you're going to open those up and you're going to run them until it's completely pink coming out of there. That way you know you got antifreeze through the entire system. You're going to close them back off once it's completely pink. Put those caps back on there. That's how you know you got antifreeze through the entire thing. You're all set. If you want to really make sure to get all the water out of there, you can blow your water lines out beforehand by attaching an air compressor to the city connection and running air through all of the lines. Some people do like to do that. Just make sure that you have the air at a low enough pressure that you're not going to blow your lines out. But once you got all that antifreeze run through there, your winterizing process is all done and you're ready to put that trailer away for winter storage. And then once you're ready to go camping again next season, you're going to go to that water pump. Make sure you got that valve twisted back to its original position so that you're drawing from your fresh tank and everything again. You're going to hook water into your city connection here and just run water down all your faucets, out all the drains. Run it until it's completely clear coming out of there, no more pink left. Go to those low points, open them up, run it until it's completely clear water coming out of there. Do that 3 to 4 times just to be certain that you got all the antifreeze out of the system and you're ready to go again. Just for wintertime, also make sure that your fresh tank is completely drained out. Just leave it open. You don't need to put antifreeze in your fresh tank as long as it's empty. As well as draining your black and gray tanks. Any waste that's left in there can freeze and crack your tanks, so just make sure that those are nice and cleaned out, opened up for the winter time. But with all of that said, thank you for watching. If you have any further questions after purchase, feel free to contact our service department and they'll walk you through and help you out. Otherwise, contact your salesman if you have any further questions about backup cameras, slide toppers, anything like that. They'll help you out with that as well. But thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.